5. 2020, we dropped it 10.677. 21, we dropped it further to 10.413. And of course, the inflation the last 3 years being over 27%, we've held it the same and proposing the same mill rate this year with an increase in the fire district tax, which the fire district tax is a tax for unincorporated areas that don't have their own fire departments. And that's a tax to pay for our fire service, just to let you know that. And what we plan to do is go case by case for those that want to get up, and we'll pull up your parcel and look at the history. And we have to advertise how this works, even though over half the digest is frozen in value. The other half is not. The apartments, the commercial property, the investment land, and that's basically where this 3.29% increase is at, in that their values went up and they're not frozen. But for homeowners, there's very minimal tax increase. If you live in the cities with fire service, there's zero tax increase. If you live in the county, the fire district tax equates to $10.60 for every $100,000 of value your home is. So it's very minimal. But we'll have the first one come up. We'll hear what you have to say. We'll pull up your tax bills and see if we can answer your questions. Don't be bashful. This is being recorded, so everybody can watch you, so watch your language. I'm bad about letting a few derogatives go, but we'll be glad to pull it up. Just for example, this is my 4th year. The last 3 years, more people left from here to raise sand with a school board than they did. They admitted that, well, we're in the wrong place. My taxes gone up. Please look at your tax bills. We do send them out on behalf of the school boards and the county and a couple of the cities. It's got our name on top. I used to be the same way. I come down here and raise sand with the Board of Commissioners, and I should have been raising sand with the City of Monroe and the school board because it stays pretty steady. I feel like we've done a good job in that we have had a huge inflationary period the last 3 years. Everybody knows that. You go to the grocery store, anything you do, you can't even go to McDonald's now for less than $15 one meal. We have had above 25% inflation over the last 3 years. And with money management, I'm real proud of the fact that the increase is basically, we've survived off the growth in the county and the increase in value of the commercial properties and stuff. It's different than I viewed it before I first got in office. I didn't know we were going to be hamstrung by so many parcels frozen in value. We do have people, 60, 70 years old, still paying taxes on a $62,000 house that today's worth close to $300,000. It's a great place to live. You get above 65, you can get your school tax removed. But please, don't be embarrassed. Anybody can pull your tax bill up. It's not private, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. Yes, ma'am. Would you mind speaking from the podium so that... I'm loud, so... Okay.
My name is Lauren Benet, and I'm here representing my son and daughter-in-law. They couldn't be here today because they both work and have 2 small children. They live in the Meadowlark subdivision, which is both county and city. I wrote a letter on their behalf
You filed an appeal.
I did.
Yes.
So, I won't get into the personal details of their particular situation within their subdivision. The reason I'm here is just for general information. You did mention inflation. The inflation rate, yes, has been high for the past 3 years, but it is going down. So I'm wondering if your board has taken that into consideration.
I don't know where you got the information. It's going down. It is leveling out, but it has not receded,
Well,
period.
it's according to, you know, it's what the federal government is saying, so, it's on the news, so I won't get into that, you can research that on your own.
Well, what's your question?
The country has changed dramatically. I'm just wondering if this county is evolving, in response to that. I think having, subsidizing schools on the backs of homeowners is both unfair, is unfair, discriminatory, and
Oh, in particular, what are you talking about?
well, the school tax that is part of property tax
Yes, ma'am.
is exorbitant.
You're talking to the County Board of Commissioners, which has nothing to do with the school system or the school tax, except for we send the bill out.
This is a property tax.
And the school levies their own property tax, but we do send the bill out for them. We have zero, absolute zero say on how the school systems run their budget or their spending. We're responsible for the county services. We're the sheriff, we're the fire department, we're roads and bridges, we're animal control, we're county buildings, emergency services, 911. It's what this board, but we have nothing to do with the school system.
Well, is that something you can speak to? Because we've also,
You can go to the school board, meetings, they're public meetings just like the county. You have a school board member from your district that you can talk to, just like the district commissioners. But it is totally a different animal.
this goes above the school. This is a higher, more lofty decision than that. The schools have to be subsidized in another way. And by another means, not on the backs of property.
Well, I understand what you say, but this board has no input whatsoever.
No input,
No input whatsoever. We don't even license the school buses. I mean, this board has nothing to do with the school system whatsoever.
And there's no representation from the school here either.
Oh, yes, you've got school board members that, the school board is very much like this board. They run Walton County schools. Oh, no, ma'am. No. This is a county budget hearing. This is a county mill rate hearing. Has nothing to do, I do have the numbers here for the school board.
No, this would be a discussion that would go above the school board. It's how they're subsidized.
Yeah, see, the county's mill rate is 10.413. If you live in an unincorporated county, it's 12.513. Then added to that for your tax bill is the Board of Education mill rate, and it's 16.966, which is, a good 30% more or 40% more than the county mill rate. Schools get to tax the full value of your homes. Unlike a county, like I said to begin with, your homestead freezes your county for county tax purposes, not school. So if you're sitting there in a $150,000 home county value, and the assessor's got you in a $500,000 home, the county taxes you on 150. The school board taxes you on the 500. And that's why when you look at your tax bill, and if you look at the breakdown on it, the county tax is far below what your school tax is. It's just the animal, the beast in the animal there. But there's no representation from the school board at these meetings. We, by law, have to have 3 of these meetings and give the public a chance. And yes, we're having to advertise a 3.29% tax increase. And that's true overall for the county, but it's not true for all taxpayers, was the point I was trying to make from our standpoint. And you know, there's all sorts of internet comments and stuff, which I don't read. I get informed on some of them. Most of them are false. The latest was when we're building a new jail, I didn't vote on it. It was voted on by the taxpayers in 2006. It was on the ballot. It passed. There was $26.6 million raised for it that set an account till we move forward on it. And that,
I don't read social media.
I'm glad, because you can't. If you're telling me their property taxes have skyrocketed since they've moved in there, is what you're telling me.
I got $1,000 in just the past year.
And I'd be glad to pull it up. Do they have homestead?
Yes.
All right, then it wasn't the county that went up the $1,000.
Well, who assesses the market?
The tax assessor's office assesses the value, and they go by state guidelines. They have to meet certain state criteria. We pay their salaries, but we're not allowed to give them any direction. They have to meet certain parameters within the state. I would love to pull up. Do you have a street address or something, and we pull up?
We have a hearing.
I'm sorry?
We have a hearing.
Oh, you have an appeals hearing on value, but I'd love to show you where the increase in taxes is at, is what I was getting at. Or you can look at the last, have they lived there more than 3 years? Have they lived there more than 2 years?
It will be 2 years in May.
Yeah, see, they probably pay taxes based on the previous owner's value the first year that they purchased, and the only true tax year they have is this last year. And it could be that when they bought from a previous owner, correct?
Yes.
All right, well, that previous owner's value was froze, not at what they paid for it, but it was froze earlier. So if they paid taxes, then it could be a county increase, because when they bought the home, a new basis was set up. Now, it's frozen from that point on, but it could have been one of those $65,000 homes that got upgraded to $250,000 when they bought it. I don't know. But there is an increase then, because you can't keep the frozen value of a previous seller, previous owner, is the way that it works. But there's people purposely moving to Walton County that's 65 and older for the homestead freeze. I know the county tax not going up, and there's a lot of counties that have the 65 or older. You don't pay any more school tax on your house. And is it 2 acres or 1, Donna?
Less.
1 acre. But yeah, it could be that they bought. It could be the county, because the sellers were probably froze at a whole lot lower value. And then when they bought, they established a new value, and the county taxed on the new value 40% of it. So it could have been the county on that.
We're finding more and more that the calculation is not being shared.
Yes, sir.
Explain the phrase for the homestead exemption.
I'm hard of hearing that.
Explain the phrase for the homestead exemption.
All right, and you'll get to vote on it statewide this fall. That's why it's important. The state legislature has put it on the ballot. It's a little different than what Walton County has. But in Walton County, when you go in and file for homestead, as long as you own that home, that's the value you're going to be taxed at from now for the next 30 years. Only way you're going to get a tax increase is if we raise the millage rate. So that's why I'm kind of proud we've been able to keep the millage rate at 10.145 or whatever it is for these past 3 years with inflation going like it is. I think we've done a pretty good job. Compared, you look at like some of the cities and some of the schools, the increases they've had, and we're able to do that. Where we're getting our extra money from is the increase on properties aren't frozen. Your commercial, your apartments, your downtown businesses, and they don't mind a small increase because their businesses have picked up, and it's very fair for the homeowner. Yes, sir.
My name is also a question. Kind of just want to feedback on the third comment about the tax homeowners, and then you mentioned obviously residential and commercial real estate. So you're generating the income based on a lot of rentals and commercial property. So the commercial property then, so say I'm a commercial facility and I own 30, 40 rentals in homes or apartments. I'm not paying. So the school tax, am I not paying a school tax because I'm not technically a property owner, it's commercial property? Because a renter's paying rent, and they're always going to keep putting up the rent, but they're paying school taxes. I don't know if you can answer that, you said it's a city thing, which is, I appreciate you educating me on that. There were two separate, I knew there were two separate, I know where they make their own tax rate and then they make their own rate. Fine. So if I'm a renter, but whoever owns my property that I'm renting from, are they paying school tax?
They definitely are. And renters, you know, people think renters are getting by without paying tax, but look at rental rates. These landlords are having to cover the property tax increases with the raise in rent.
I mean, my daughter's a renter, she rents a house and shopping because it's like more than mortgages were.
Yeah.
It just keeps going up, and it's always an excuse. You try to find a cheaper rental, you can't, it's hard around here, but I just want to make sure. When she's not paying property taxes, it's around, some of it is for that property.
They are definitely paying, and actually paying more than the homeowners are. And I get them burning my ear. They want some sort of freeze too. But this fall, when you vote, when it's November 5th, I think, the presidential election, there will be on the ballot a measure that your legislatures put there that will freeze your assessments to no more than 3% increase. We've had meetings with cities and stuff. Everybody's in a panic. I'm used to it. I've been froze since I took office on homeowners. But this, I think, will be homeowners only again, but it'll be statewide, not just countywide.
And then the follow-up, so there is a lot of construction going on with new homes, I'm assuming a lot of new developments, I'm assuming consideration, price was done up, we have to pay bills. I mean, I look at, the development area, 250 on the site, from 250 to 500 new homes. And I look at it, so, property taxes, good average of $4,000 a year, and you do the beer math, next thing you're like, hey, you're like $8 million, right? You get it, a lot of it comes to school.
The governor's office approved the no more than 3%
To go on the ballot.
increase effective July 1st, so it has already gone into effect.
No, ma'am, it's on the ballot this fall.
I have a letter from the governor's office telling me that.
It's proposed, but until the voters vote it in, It has been proposed and it's been approved by the governor, but it doesn't take effect. There's no July. This got to be voted on by the voters this fall.
I wish I'd brought the letter with me.
I wish you had to.
Sorry for interrupting.
So there's a lot of new developments, and we'll say, they fill these homes with bank, just an average, we'll say 4,000 a year is easy now. Look, 8 million a year revenue, now you gotta split that county, and then obviously school tax rate. That projection, they're not gonna be done, we'll just give it 12 months. So for next year, is the raise, the projection of.
Well, you're asking about the new homes and the new growth.
So then they're gonna have to go through their whole,
Those,
they're gonna have to lock in.
they'll lock in.
Sure, it'll be a higher rate, but is that projected, when you guys did, obviously, you're looking forward a little bit, and when you lock things in, when you talk about the new jail, $10 million back in '06, by the time it's done, it really costs $15 million. We need to go, my point is, if you look out for next year, looking at all the new development, and the taxes coming in, are we looking at kind of leveling out? Or are we still looking,
We're looking, we purposely did not budget staff in the jail in this budget because it's going to be a big ticket item, the additional staff. Now, we were lucky enough and the taxpayers approved and the cities agreed for it was put on the ballot to have the payment of that facility taken care of with sales tax. It's front and foremost. So that comes off the property owners right there. And I think it's the fairest way to pay for a facility like that. The staffing is another thing. You can't use sales tax for personnel. And what we'll do, we've built up our reserves. I've been very frugal with county's money. Matter of fact, with Milton's help, our finance director here, we were one of the first counties to ladder U.S. Treasury notes. And laddering means we put county funds in U.S. Treasuries and they come due every month, so it doesn't impede our payroll. But what it did do over this last 3 years, earn us about $5.5 million additional interest above what the money market is. And those funds that have been earned, we will amend the budget as we hire starting in January until the new budget is done. And with the growth that's coming, we hope we can absorb all these new employees within that facility. That facility has been needed in this county for some time. There are 8 grand jury scoldings on our crowded and dilapidated conditions in our new jail. There have been countless studies. And I can't help but say when it was voted for and they raised the $26 million, it would have cost $46 million to build it. And everyone got cold feet and procrastinated and put it off. And what we're building today, due to procrastination and put off, is $152 million, same facility. This thing could have been built for $46 million 14 years ago. And it is what it is. And with the warrants and the sheriff's department lag and COVID, court systems haven't caught up yet. We can't wait to get it open and get some relief from liability. We have people sleeping in plastic cots on the floor in the facility, and we have about, I think it was 42 in other facilities that we're paying to house. But getting back to taxes, the increase for the people, the only increase that we approved is fire district. And I wanted you to also be aware, the County Board of Commissioners allocates the insurance premium tax that we get every year to the unincorporated fire services within the unincorporated areas of Walton County. And by doing that, that's $5.2 million this year that we put to the fire department. It helps keep your property taxes down. We are very prudent in what we're doing. It's a huge, we are approaching 1,000 employees. The clinic that we started for employee health has even surprised me. I was hoping to save 500, 600,000 the first year. We're going to break 3 million the first year. Phenomenal. And that's your dollars. That's taxpayer dollars. So we've implemented a lot of good things. We still got a lot to do, but it's a different animal than a private business. That's one thing I've had sticker shock on, is how slow government can operate on getting something done. Yes, sir, Mr. Roger Hale. What's your address? Let's see if I can operate this computer. Say it again. I'm going to try to get somebody to help me. I can't hear. Roger's so soft speaking. I'm old. I need hearing aids. My wife tells me every day I need to get hearing.
It's 2700 Youth Monroe Road. It's on the screen as well.
All right.
Mr. Hill, we also have this mic up, so if you want to speak into it.
All right. Which year is this that you got up there?
2023.
You pay 25 school boards, 0 on school taxes. Your county taxes last year was, I can't read, 688?
658.72.
658.70. And you got a fire district tax of 149 or 49?
149 and 11.
149. So you basically are a county taxpayer with a little bit on the school bond. Yeah, you're paying really 0 except for the bond, which was voted on. They voted on that, and so everybody pays on that. And that will not stop the bond. What you're getting out of when you're 65 is the regular county school tax. The bond payment, and matter of fact, I think this bond gets paid off in 2 more years. It'll be on there 2 more years. And I wouldn't put him past and trying to get another bond floated. Yes, your fair market value has gone up, but your home and 1 acre is frozen. Now, you own more than 1 acre. Yeah. Well, you argue that with the tax assessors and keep your value down on it. There is a lot of unusable property in the county. I looked at one tract years ago. It was 87 acres. There's barely 1.5 acres of it you could build a house on. The rest of it was swamp. I mean, and I was thinking, what a deal I'm fixing to get till I went and looked at it, and you needed duck wading boots to walk the property. Well, you do what you can do with land you can't use, but I feel like you're living in one of the better counties around, but yeah, your assessed value may keep going up, but as long as you keep that deed in your name and don't change ownership, you're froze on the bulk of your. There's supposed to be some other break at 70. I don't know about it. I'm 69, so.
There is, when you get 70, you get another discount.
You get another discount.
And even if you've got, wetlands, the good part about it is, I've got some on mine, but if you look at it right, you got one living next to you. You look at it.
Well, having people understand is the hardest thing. Yes, ma'am. We can. Tell Ben your address or something, and how long have you owned the property? Oh, I'd love somebody to come up that's been here 5 years, then I can go back and show that we hadn't raised their darn tax. But,
71, Twin Oaks Drive.
all right. All right, this is last year's bill. Yeah, you got county school. Now, understand, last year, every homeowner got a credit from the state of Georgia on their actual tax dollars. It was anywhere from $300 to $500. And that credit's not there this year. So the actual dollars you pay this year will be what you paid the year before last, and it'll be the same amount. But
Like, we built, our house was like 80% finished when that one came out. And so the bill we got this year was like, it says on the ground, $6,400.
now what you've gotten for this year is a proposed setting these mill rates will be actual. So there'll be an actual tax bill coming after the August 6th meeting, and we approve the mill rates for the school and for this. That assess, me and my hand talking, I'm sorry. I ought to have been Italian. They talk with both hands. The reassessment that came out is in no way a bill. It's an estimate if you don't appeal your value and all that. That alarms people too, because if you got the homestead, that doesn't take that into account. So it could show a huge tax increase on the reassessment.
Our homestead exemption we filed for it, I don't reduce it by $100. And I found that was very odd, that it'd be exactly $100.
Yeah, that sounds odd to me too. What it does, it takes $2,000 value off your home. Ever how that worked out. But what it does more than that is what I'm trying to explain to you. It freezes that value in Walton County. And we had people come last year raising saying about the taxes going up, and lo and behold, we lived here 3 years and didn't go down to the tax assessor and file for homestead. And yeah, their taxes went up.
We filed for appeal, and we went through that process now, which they should, it was this morning, but they should.
Well, I used to appeal every year. I used to own a lot of real estate in this county, and I'm one of the few sitting on this board that actually took this county to court on a flawed digest. And I was black-headed and young at the time, but So I've appealed values my whole life fighting, because I had commercial property too. But
Doesn't that freeze it, David, for 3 years?
whatever value they decide, they can keep it the same, they can lower it, or they can go up on the value, and it's frozen for 3 years. A good friend of mine appeals 1/3 of his properties every year, whether he wins or not, and they're froze for 3 years on any tax increase. Pretty smart. But it's froze for 3 years, whatever, if you appeal it. And generally, our Board of Appeals gives some sort of discount. They're pretty good.
The taxpayers too.
Yeah, they're taxpayers too.
Tax assessor, what's his qualifications to be the tax assessor? $30 course on the
They go through a ton of classes in schooling. They're better than any appraisal company you can hire to appraise your house. They're very detailed. And they have to be, just think of what they're dealing with. They have to send to the tax commissioner, for school taxes, this house is worth $480,000, but for county tax, this house only worth $120,000. And all that has to be kept up with, different levels. And then on top of that, they have to, where we have joint development authorities, our tax people have to tell the other counties what % of those pilot payments the county gets or they get. It's a very in-depth, detailed job.
Now, see, our bank doesn't appraise them. They're going to lose something, or some of it is wrong, right? So they have an appraisal, and then the county came up with their value, it's like
Way above the banks. Well, you can appeal that, and that'll give you a good argument.
I was see all of them this morning. They worked that ourselves.
Okay.
Now, the distribution of monies, when I bought my permits, I was kind of floorboarded by that, and I see them where the fees go to. Parks and Recreation's got 80% of the money.
Impact fee.
Money that goes there, so there is an impact fee on new construction, and that would be for
It was like thousands of dollars for that Parks and Recreation, and I don't see that. When you're cutting grass,
It's different, it's split up different ways. Some of it goes to roads and bridges, some of it goes to your fire service. Right, 911, and we operate 911, of course, for the cities and the county. It's a very expensive facility to keep up and operate. And it got crashed. You're talking about when the computer virus went, our IT people were at 3:15 in the morning at 911 trying to get them back up and going. That's top priority. Yeah, there's impact fees. We haven't revisited those since they were implemented. Some of the commissioners are hollering they want it revisited and raise the impact fees, try to slow, but you're not going to slow people coming here. When they build 1, 2, 3, too many houses and they don't sell, that's when you'll see the slowing start. And that may be around the corner, the way we're headed. So, but can I, yes, sir. Speak louder. I'm hard to hear.
Would you mind when you're speaking coming up here, just in the interest of the recording as well, it doesn't get picked up over there? I apologize. We can get you chairs.
I'm answering questions the public doesn't hear.
Well, most of the time, the public doesn't want to hear. But anyway. Now, I wish you guys, as a commission, would close HD 8th Road. That is the whole problem, that people get killed down at 78 and
We're
Youthman
in
Road.
the process of doing that right now.
Don't be in the process. Put 2 concrete barriers up and a road closed sign before somebody else gets killed. Yes, you can. It's a county road. You can do whatever you
All
want.
right, Roger.
Yes, you can.
I understand what you're saying. We are working on it, but there's a process that has to be done. We can't just go out there and drop a telephone pole over the road. It's in the process of being closed, and we're in the process of buying additional right-of-way. We're going to spend about $3.2 million correcting that, and we've had to get DOT involved, but yeah, we can't just drop a pole across the road.
I've been asking you all to drop a pole across the road for years, and how many people have died waiting for a pole across the road?
Well,
The 8th is the problem. People can't get through there and cut, so they.
we realize it, and we're doing it, but it's not going to happen in the morning. And that's the difference. That's the difference between when I come on here. I come from the private sector, and I thought you could just do that, but you just can't. It's not as simple, but it is happening, and we're fast tracking it. It's top priority, and unfortunately, it took 2 more people to die there in that motorcycle accident.
And more could die right now while you're waiting. That's what I'm getting at. HD 8th is the problem, has always been the problem, and you can run an extension on down there for Nunley Farm as a turn lane. You can spend $3 million when probably $1 million or less would fix the problem. And it's a good gesture to spend $3 million. That's bigger money.
Well,
But HD 8th is the problem right now. And every time I hear the sirens and I see the police officers flying out,
well, we're at a budget hearing, please.
I know.
Come back to the board meeting and raise hell about HD 8th,
I've read,
where you got everybody's attention.
I've done that before.
Well, you got a reputation too, Roger. Thank you very much. Is there anything else? We'll adjourn this meeting. If you forgot something and want to come back, we're meeting again tonight at 6. And appreciate you, Duke, coming. Appreciate your concern. And we unfortunately weren't responsible for the inflationary of the last 3 years, were we? Thank y'all. How long we take?